So good evening, everybody. Today is the 15th day of November 2017, 8 p.m. Welcome you to this class. It's a special session where Professor Niro Oyekale will be making a brief presentation to us. And you must have received the PowerPoint slide by now, which will be sent by WhatsApp. I will be making the session presentations. How do you call it now? I will be advancing the slide, and or rather, Professor Yekale will be presenting and getting the slides on, and I will be. I think that's fine. I will be taking it from here and showing to the group. Professor Yekale, are you set?
Yes, I'm set. Good evening, sir.
Good evening, sir. So,
Good evening, sir.
very good.
Good evening, sir. Good
Yeah,
evening, sir.
yeah. So, you have the floor now.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
The last week, or last Sunday to be precise, we discussed cyber security. So I'm starting the class by taking back to cyber security and to remind you of the strategies that has been the best global practice that countries are adopting to ensure that they secure their cyberspace. The very first of the strategy is government of every nation coming up with a policy. As we have in Nigeria, the 2015 Cyber Security Act. The second one is capacity development, and that is the area that I will be focusing tonight. Then the third one is research and development. Then lastly, we have international collaboration. You agree with me that there's something we want to talk about today on how an individual can secure himself or a nation can secure this cyberspace without developing the capacity of the citizen of that nation.
Yeah.
So there has been an area that everybody has been neglecting, not even neglecting per se, but we've all been assuming that we are at a very good proficiency level in digital literacy. But I want to ask, how many of you have actually benchmarked their proficiency level in digital literacy? Do we have anybody in the class that has undertaken a test of proficiency in digital literacy? Do we have anybody?
Yes, sir.
You have? And what tool did you use when you are benchmarking yourself? Is it questionnaire? What? You use questionnaire?
No, sir. I did online course on edX.
On what?
On edX.
Okay. And what was your score?
I have a pass mark. I was given an achievement.
Don't worry. Got in him, and that's why I have a challenge to every member of the class tonight.
Yes.
At the end of this class, send me your email address. I will send to you a competency test sample.
Very good.
Then whatever you score
Yes.
is a benchmark and is actually your proficiency level in digital literacy. I want to put it to you that I've conducted this test on over 400,000 Nigerians, and only 7 people passed. The best person to pass the test was the Honorable Okebukola, the immediate past Honorable Commissioner for Health of the State. My prof knows him very well.
Yes, of
So
course.
he can testify to this my claim that only 7 people in Nigeria out of 400,000 passed that test. So today I will quickly go over digital literacy as an imperative of every Nigerian in this century. Yes, when you look at the demography of Nigeria, 65% of our population.
Are you back to your slides now, Professor Oyekale? Are you back to your slides so that I can be? Yeah, you can be going by number so that I can be advancing from here.
I'm on the first slide, on the second slide now.
Yes, second slide. Yes.
Okay, considering demography, 65% of Nigerian population falls within the age bracket of the youth, that is between below 35. And when you look at this age, in the next 20 years, a youth, somebody of age 35 working in Nigeria today will still be very, very active. So this is a blessing to a developing country like Nigeria. But when you now look at what is actually happening in the job market, we have about 24.9% of Nigeria now, mostly graduates looking for jobs. This is not too good. And the few ones that are able to get jobs end up becoming part of the working poor. They earn less than $2 a day. This is not too good. So on the average, you can imagine Africa is producing about 30 million graduates every year. And none of these graduates is able to key into opportunities beyond the shore of the continent. When you now look at the digital disruption, yes, how far has it actually helped us? Digital disruption is seriously or radically altering the work environment. And to this, so many of us are unable to cope because it has resulted in increasing expectation of workforce to deliver quality, impact, and value. You're expected to do more than you are doing because the job demand of today has gone beyond the needs of career practice of yesteryears. This a digital age and is an era of emerging expansion in information. We have access to several tools, the internet, the search engines, the social network, and so on and so forth. Because we are very, very versatile in the usage of all these tools, we think we are there. Sincerely yours, you don't have the minimum requirement for employment because the minimum requirement for employment as we speak in Nigeria today and in about 139 other countries globally is called digital literacy. And digital literacy is not something that you assume you have. You understand? It's something that you have to work for. When I get down, you will see what digital literacy is all about and what you need to do to be digitally literate. But there are hard times for everybody in the world. Why? People are losing jobs and people are not gaining jobs. One would want to wonder, why is it that people are losing jobs and people are not getting jobs?
Professor Yekale, are you still referring to your slides? Because I always advance it from here. I can see you are just on the second one. Just let me know when next you are moving on because I cannot see.
Okay,
yeah, please.
Okay, about urgent automation. That is slide 6. Slide 6. That with estimated further loss of 65% of current jobs, then there are hard times ahead. Because why? As at the end of last year, the vacancies for virtual workforce globally was put at 1.5 billion.
Do you say you are on slide 6?
Yes.
That's the one that we have as our goal?
No,
are we
looking? That is urgent automation.
No. Slide number 6 is telling me our goal: give young graduate skills that employers recognize. That's what slide 6 is giving me. There are 25 slides on this in this file. Or are we looking at different files? You are looking at.
Okay, I'm coming.
Okay, please carry on. Urgent automation. Yes, was slide 6. Go ahead.
Yes. 65% of current jobs will still be lost. So there's need for us to do something about it now. And what do we need to do? We need to automate our human capabilities. I said there will be hard times because it is only in Africa that the working population is projected to hit about 70% increase in the next 20 years. While in continents like Europe, they will be experiencing a shrinkage to the tune of about 8.6%. So that's what we have to look at Africa for their workforce needs. So, and that is why we have to look at this, our younger demography, our huge population as an opportunity. But whether this will be an opportunity or not will depend on how fast we can redesign our education system.
Yeah, Professor Yekale, please be telling me the next slide because I'm still. Okay, that's impact on Nigeria. Please let that be the sequence.
Okay. Either that this will bring huge opportunity or will perpetuate poverty and increase inequality will depend, the next slide, largely on how fast we can redesign our education system, adapt to new technologies, afford to fund or source for funding. Next slide, please.
Yes, go ahead. Yeah.
So with this, we Nigerians today requires far broader range of skills and attributes than the technical capabilities or competence that career practices formally demanded. When you look at everything around you, you will realize that everything has changed. The work has changed. The work environment has changed. Work demands have changed. So we need to update our skills. I will tell people, nothing is wrong with our mathematics. We don't have problem with our geography, chemistry, and all this. All we need to do is to just move our whatever we are doing, to move our education standard or globalize it to be competitive at the end of the day. So let's move to the next slide, sir.
Okay, go ahead.
So how do we achieve this? We need to develop and coordinate a capacity development system to meet the needs of the present without compromising the ability of future generations to meet their own needs, and such that we enable the youth to adapt to new conditions and career shifts, reduce unemployment, raise labor productivity. Next, sir.
Yeah.
How do we do this? We need to provide the link. And what is the link? 21st century skill, which is a product of innovative capacity development and access to technology. This is all we need to do to have capacity to remain abreast of technology development and have competence to effectively use technology to increase productivity and competitiveness in all aspects of business process. Next.
Yep.
We need to provide digital literacy. You can see it's a very colorful slide. That is how beautiful digital literacy is, and that is how impactful it can be if we can actually acquire the skills. The next. And what is digital literacy? It's the ability to find, evaluate, visualize, share, and create content using information technologies and the internet. It is a key to use to open any opportunity in the world today for building an inclusive society and this economy. Next. It is more than I can use a software or a digital device. I said it the other time, because we can use the wikis, because we can use the Skype, because we can use all kind of software and devices. That does not make us digitally literate. It's involved you having a large variety of complex skills, cognitive, motoric, sociological, and emotional that users need to have to be effective in the digital environment. It is the foundation. Next slide, sir.
Yeah.
It is the foundation. It represents a new adult basic skills, which when integrated into the adult basic skill curriculum, enable improve and enhance learning acquisition of other basic skills. So it's the foundation. It is the standard, because next slide, it standardizes basic expectation from employees to meet employers' expectation. And that is one thing we need to realize, that if there are 1.5 billion vacancies and we have about 60 million Nigerians looking for jobs, why should they continue to have excuse of not getting jobs when there are jobs all over everywhere around them? So we need to move them to standard, align capacity development and instructional effort with global standard, so that we can produce a more flexible and better qualified workforce. Then we call further provision of training programs with qualified curriculum. When you look at the 2016 to 2019 education roadmap for Nigeria, this was actually pointed out. And there are so many of us today that we tell that we always say they are literate. They can do this, they can do that. And if you ask them, what is the justification? What's that? It will be difficult for them to come up with certificates, justify the kind of skill they have. So this is an area that is actually taking us aback, that we need to look at and deal with. I see to the next step now.
Yeah, Madam Uchenna, your system is disturbing us. I may take you off the class. Madam Uchenna, your system is disturbing us. I may take you off the class if it continues. Please carry on. Carry on. Okay.
So the global standard for digital literacy, and which Nigeria is adopting at the next National Council on Communication Technology holding next week in Katsina, is the IC3 digital literacy, which is the Internet and Computing Course Certification. This program was designed in 2000 to address the need for a globally recognized and accepted standard of basic computing knowledge, considered fundamental to academic learning and a minimum requirement for employment. Last year at the same NCCT, this was approved and recommended that digital literacy becomes the entry-level requirement and promotion requirement for people in the public service, which we expect we cascade to the corporate world as well. The next one. So with IC3, an individual will stand out. You have a global training and certification that provide you with proof that you are equipped with the needed computer skills to excel in the digital world. You are capable of using a broad range of computer technology and ready for challenges of work, academic, and life. Then you are positioned to advance your career through additional computer certification. When I get to the few slides now, I will be able to explain that better. So this is the objective. For you to claim digital literacy, you must have sat for 3 exams and pass all the 3 at passing score before you can have it. The first is computing fundamental, next key applications, and the third one is living online. So with this, you come to realize that it is no longer something that should be pushed back. Rather, it has become a global priority because it is now a requirement for employment, not only in Nigeria, but also in 138 other countries. Next slide. So keeping up to cope with the digital era now requires more than putting technology into the field, but to creating amplified digital capabilities that blend the best of both digital and human resources. There's no how you can remove human being from the cyberspace. It's not possible. But it has to be a blend. It is what we need to do now to automate our human capabilities so that we can be competitive with the rest of the world. We must train to be a versatilist. What do I mean by this? To continuously adapt, learn, and grow in a fast-changing world so that you can start to showcase your skill. You apply depth of skills to a progressively wider scope of situation and experiences, equally at least with technical issues as with business strategies. So this is my slide. I always like this slide. It's colorful, and it's actually give us what exactly we need as professionals. First of all, the IC3 Fast Track is a tool that can be used to benchmark yourself. If you don't score 75%, then you now realize the need for you to undertake the foundational training in digital literacy. Then from there, you can move to other levels. The ICA Auto Desk, the MOS for teachers, cybersecurity is there, and all these things. So if we're able to achieve this, we'll be taking control. We'll be reforming capacity development and recruitment system at all levels to nurture new global mass graduates with skills and knowledge necessary for their long careers in the 21st century, enhance productivity of foreign workers, and improve the relevance of capacity development to services irrespective of job demand. The era of tailored training has gone. Everybody needs a broad training in digital literacy so that you'll be able to cope with the digital era because digital era demands new thinking about everything, requesting rebuilding many of the operational and managerial strategies that have served well for decades and even centuries. They are no longer able, thus bringing many traditional economic and social pillars of the industrial age to the end of their life cycle. You start to see many of these happening as soon as very, very soon now, prompting the invention of new network models built around a new medium of communications and net generation. Next slide. So where do we need to be? Yes, now we're supposed to have moved from supported use of technology to independent use so that we can get ourselves beyond basic digital skill threshold and use technology to enhance our productivity. For job seekers to master their basic digital skill threshold for most jobs, because about 98% of all jobs now require you to have this foundational skill in digital literacy. Next slide. So that we can create a culture of personnel wanting to upskill, give everybody lifelong learning. I've mentioned that. The real world demands on current workforce and student graduates are drifted apart. Next slide. We need to achieve a new standard in digital literacy. Next slide. So that we can bridge digital skill gap, unleash human potential, support immediate empowerment of Nigerians for the digital era. Exposure to computer does not equal understanding computer. This I know you agree with me. Even though the government has put in place the Digital Literacy Council with the Minister of Communication as chairman, and that the National Council on Communication Technology already recommended digital literacy as the minimum requirement. Then the Nigeria ICT roadmap, actually approved by the Federal Executive Council on June 7, gave so much prominence to digital literacy. And there's need to do more if we actually want to go further. We need to reposition Nigeria for digital era and drive the campaign for digitally literate Nigeria to entrench the creation of a park of netizen. We have to establish the National Digital Literacy Commission. My prof was there last week where we discussed this extensively.
Yes.
And we all agree that this is a needful. It is now or never.
Yeah.
We need to recognize digital literacy as a global priority and the new skills investment needed across all sectors of Nigeria and global economy. This we need to do to promote by promoting the adoption of global standards of digital literacy, the IC3, which will happen next week, as a requirement for appointment, placement, and promotion in Nigeria. So we must collectively develop a strategy to maintain, revise, and integrate digital fluency standard into Nigerian education and human capacity development system. The class will remember that we recall that my prof told us last week that he's been mandated to turn around the curriculum of Nigerian university system.
Yes.
I'm very happy because I'm very sure we've been working together on this.
Absolutely.
To adopt training as education in digital literacy, put it to the Senate as their consensus project within the tenure of the 8th National Assembly. So, because when we do this, what will be the benefit? What will be the outcome? We'll be ensuring compliance of Nigeria in the digital era, enhancing personnel overhead efficiency, bridge the widening digital gap among Nigerians and stimulate e-governance, align capacity development effort with global standard, and reposition Nigerian education and human capacity development to reduce unemployment and enhance labor exploitation. You remember the last 2 months, about 350 billion was released by the government of Nigeria for construction of roads and bridges, followed by the release of 1 trillion naira for capital projects, and then again the Sukuk proceed of 100 billion naira for construction of further roads and bridges. Then shortly, about a week or two after that, the World Bank president said,
sorry, Professor, you have 5 more minutes. 5 more minutes,
okay,
Professor.
Just getting out of recession. And for a country getting out of recession, they should do more of building capacity of human so that they can be competitive. Yes, it is the dawn of the new era. So there's need for us to rethink education and invest in better one. Rethink capacity development and invest in retraining to retool and skill programs to help the smart, educated, and the job-seeking Nigerians learn new skills and adapt to the rapidly changing demands of the digital era. Time is of essence. It is now. We need to invest in building block of innovation and empower the next generation of innovators, entrepreneurs, vibrant and motivated Nigerians youth to trickle up and invent their own destinies. Our destiny is in our hands. A word is enough for the wise. Nigeria will not change if Nigerians are given the same education and capacity that has taken Nigeria to our present state. So the decision is ours to either restart or shut down. God bless everybody in the class. God bless Nigeria. And thank you very much.
Well, this is awesome. Thank you very much, Professor Niron Oyekale. You can see that the class is quite excited and the applause is heavy. You are all now able to see a new perspective to digital literacy, not the conception that you had before. You can see it. You can see the 3 pillars that you need to be standing on to be to be labeled digitally literate. So we have 10 minutes for discussion, and I'd like to go clockwise. Jerry, if you are set, you ask your question or make your comment. Jeremiah. Yeah, the trouble has started with Jeremiah again. Dima Lawa.
Hello. Hello, sir. Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Yes, go ahead. Make your comment or ask your question. Dima Lawa, we're waiting for you. Bileyi, over to you. Bileyi, over to you.
Thank you very much, sir.
Yeah, that's what I want. Prompt. Yes, go ahead.
My question is simply based on my present research. I
Good.
just want you to tell me, sir, what is digital literacy in the classroom? Because presently, I'm facing some challenges in the class as a result of the implementation of an e-learning platform. Thank you, sir.
Very good. Johnson.
Yes. What you said, sir, it has really given a very, very good insight into what is happening around.
Yes.
And it's a great privilege to listen to this matter. And I would say I've been educated more because that is the basis of education.
That's it.
And while you were talking, I was trying to look at the Empower program of the federal government, and I was thinking that how would they be able to implement this in Empower program? Because the goal of this is that everybody should be empowered. We believe that every Nigerian that has not gotten a job one way or another, they are supposed to be able to stand on their own and do something for themselves. But we know quite all right that this is IoT, Internet of Things, is taking over everywhere. And now with this that you have talked about this evening, I was wondering that how is this going to be factored into the Empower program? And then I thought about Nigeria, the way we can see that we have so many things written in the Constitution here and there, but implementing in the area of implementation we fail so much. Implementation. And I was wondering that I hope this old ghost is not going to haunt us also when we talk about digital literacy also. What are you planning to do, or you are trying to sell to the government concerning implementation?
Okay, thank you. Right. Uchenna, if you are there, if you listen to us, ask your question or make your comment.
I didn't quite follow the class, sir.
Busayo.
Okay, thank you, sir, for that presentation, Prof. Sir. I really appreciate that presentation. I just want to ask you when you were saying that digital literacy is actually a minimum requirement for employment, sir. So I just want to ask, because you said that there are some exams one needs to take to actually determine this the proficiency level of one in digital literacy. Is there any award of certification when one takes this proficiency test?
Okay.
That's
fine. That's fine. Jeremiah, are you coming on now? Yeah. That's my challenge that's my challenge with you, Jeremiah. You know, the class has its rules. If you just remain silent, we'll drop you out again, and then you'll be begging to come back. Billy, can you see that now?
No, sir, I'm here, sir.
Yeah, so please ask your question quick, yeah.
Yeah, I can hear the class. I can hear everybody, sir.
Jeremiah, ask your question or make your comment. I'm not asking you whether you can hear or not hear.
Okay, sir. I just want to know the effect.
The what?
We can't hear you.
I want to know the effects of this digital literacy in education.
Yeah. I'd like to thank you again, Professor Oyekale. And, you and I are quite excited about having digital literacy as some kind of minimum standards for people to get employed. I know, just like Johnson Family has said, that even if you have this enshrined in a policy, implementing the policy in this Nigeria that we know is a challenge. So the National Council will say, okay, yes, let it be the minimum for employment into the public service, and they need to take an examination to know their level of performance. It's just like saying to come into the Federal Civil Service, you got to have a credit in English or a credit in maths. So it may be like having a level of pass in the digital literacy test. But you see, what people will then tell you, what labor will then tell you, is that you have an environment that is not disposing to people acquiring digital literacy skills. You have, I was in a session the other day, on Monday this week, by the way. Mr. President convened his presidential retreat, and I gave the panoramic view of education. And we found that about 35% of Nigerians are illiterate. The literacy level is 65. That's just literacy, read and write, not to even talk about digital literacy. So if we now put a hurdle on the path of people getting job to say that you got to have that digital literacy, a score that is the pass score on it before you can be employed in the Federal Ministry of Education or in agriculture or anywhere. That's what Johnson is saying, and I want to underline it. I know the answer. The answer is that, well, let's have it. That will drive people to now strive to attain it. And I give you a classical case. In 2001, I gave what I can call an executive order in the National Universities Commission that if you don't have a PhD, no vice chancellor should employ you as a lecturer grade 2. There was a lot of noise. Where are they going to get a PhD? You can't pluck it from the tree. You have just a minute. You have it takes about just a minute. It takes about a few years to be able to get a PhD and all of that. So, but do you know what happened? I didn't bend. I gave them up to 2005. I didn't bend. You need to see the rush that all those people were laid back before in the university system. All they were doing, struggling to get that PhD. And of course, we then extended it to 2007. So when Okoje took over in 2007, we extended it to 2009. So today, if you don't have a PhD, you are just gone. You are nothing. So if that thing had not been there, Johnson, are you listening?
I'm with you, sir.
Yeah, if you don't have that kind of prescription now, everybody just be laid back. So it may not be tomorrow. This digital literacy minimum score may not be tomorrow. But let it be said that you have some benchmark that you must attain, and people will then rush and rush and rush. So that's my simple explanation to that. So I leave in the hands of Professor Yekale to, in the next 3 minutes, just because we have overrun our time. No. We deal with time in class. We have overrun our time. Just the next 3 minutes, just respond to the questions very quickly. I've answered one for you. 3 minutes, please. Just 3 minutes. Yeah.
Thank you very much. What I want to see in Nigeria is a situation whereby Nigerian products can key to opportunities beyond Nigeria. Yeah. If we continue to limit ourselves to what we want in Nigeria, then we may not be able to reach out and put Nigeria in a situation whereby for you to retain a Nigerian to work in Nigeria, you have to pay comparatively to that Nigerian as he will receive outside Nigeria. So the essence of digital literacy is not per se as per Nigeria, but how can we get our people to the other part of the world, and they'll be competitive, and this will show up the kind of revolution we give to our graduates back here in Nigeria. Then, having said that, the issue of problems you have in the class might be due to tailored training. For instance, when you look at the objectives of digital literacy, the ICT digital literacy, look at the cognitive fundamentals and all these things, you come to realize that most of the trainings, most of the items there are things that you might have undertaken the training in bits and pieces. So because there is no cohesion, the standard is still very low. And that's why we are encountering the problems you are encountering. Then when you talk of how are we going to get it implemented, you wouldn't know how happy I was last week when the prof attended the cybersecurity week. And everybody was happy because it is an indication that we are going to get it right. Because you may not know prof, we know prof, and Africa knows prof. That wherever prof is, if prof want to achieve this for Nigeria, just prof, now, and that is why you are taking your time to spend a week in Katsina next week.
Yeah.
So I know you are not coming back empty and next, you are coming back loaded and resolute to drive.
Thank you, sir.
We don't have to not send it here. We have the right person. We are talking to the right person, and we have the right person driving the value of digital literacy in Nigeria. So, congratulations to class for having steering the wheel of digital literacy in Nigeria.
Thank you.
So it's a wonderful session for the class. I appreciate you. I'm willing to come back to discuss more.
No, of course. We are still taking you on, Professor Yekale. You continue. You continue. We have another class tomorrow at 8 o'clock. So that will be part 2 of this one. So please prepare something that will dig deeper. Okay. Very good. So tomorrow. Yes.
Let me tell you, class,
Yes.
We're going to make LASU a center for certification.
Very good.
Certifications are global.
Very good.
And cutting from LASU is becoming that the very best university center in Nigeria.
Thank you.
Wow.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much, sir. So maybe tomorrow morning, if Professor Yekale can give us his PPT file that we'll put on our Skype platform, so that by tomorrow 8 p.m. we'll run a 30-minute session, again with him. Once again, thank you so very much, sir, for attending the class, and I'd like to appreciate all the members. Our captain is Bilei. So, Bilei, can you move a vote of thanks for your group here?
On behalf of the class and on behalf of our distinguished Professor Mr. Okebukola, we want to say a very big thank you to Professor Niro.
Yes, sir.
God bless you.
God bless you, sir.
Thank you. Please send your email address. Don't forget.
Yeah.
I will ask for you,
sir. Okay, sir.
Thank you.
Yeah. So what I suggest that you do is put your email address on the chat platform of Skype here.
Okay,
yeah, that's fine. Okay.
Thank you very much.
So until then, God bless you all. Bye bye now. Thank you.
Bye bye, sir. Thank you, sir.
Bye bye. Thank you.